All right, red light is on. Let's see. Got people trickling in right now. And it already shows we're up. Perfect. Scott's in the house. Tom, Paco, Tom Gross, donator of the stubby bed. He was down here hanging today. My buddy, oh, and speaking of Chris, my buddy Chris Russ was over today. We were making some EWG Ned heads, some jigs, talking tackle, playing with rods and reels, figuring out plans for next year. It was a fun day. It was like, oh, what, 35 here today, something like that. So it kind of screwed us over for the whole ice fishing stuff because last week was all warm. So that sucks. That sucks. All right, looks like we are live. Trevor's in the house. What's up, Trevor? All right, well, what is happening, Fish and Friends? Welcome to another Saturday Night Live. Tonight we're talking about two techniques that I suck at. And listen, I've got to get better at them. They're two things that, one, I've wanted to do for a long time. Two is the past few years I keep saying I'm going to get good at it. And I want to kind of do a deeper dive. And I have to give shout out where shout outs are given. This is actually an idea from David, one of my subscribed Fish and Friends. That is really white and blinding. But I'll tell you here, I don't know if he's in here. If he's in here, I will ping his comment. But he said, I'm a lot better at buying cranks than catching fish with them. Big improvement goal for me in 2025, catching crankbait fish. He said, actually, that's a good idea for a live. The other technique I suck at and want to improve, number 2, is glide baits. Been spending some money on them. Going to figure out how to use them and how to catch them. So, David, excellent. Hey, there he is. He's in here. David, excellent. Because I wanted to do some shows or lives on this, talking about some plans for the year and stuff, you know, maybe some goals. And every year I've always got either 2 new lures or techniques, something that I really want to work on this year or each year. For me, again, I still want to keep working the down and side scan electronics. I've got to get better with that. Last year, I definitely dug into that a lot more. And there were a couple times where I caught fish, had really good days. Had it not been for the electronics and finding submerged cover, trees, logs, that kind of stuff, I wouldn't have had near the success if I was just out blind fishing. So for me, the 2 that I want to focus on is deep cranking, number 1, and 2 is the glide baits, the larger swim baits. Now, I've been saying that for the past few years that I want to get better at those. I know. But it really is something that I want to focus on because the few times that I've thrown them, I've had tons of followers, right? Tons of fish following it. So there's got to be something to the drawing power of them. And when I'm throwing it, it's not like buy a log or buy a laydown, buy a dock, where it's a very obvious spot where the fish is hiding. There was one time Dizzle and I were out. I was throwing some big glide baits. I'd just been throwing a jerk bait there and nothing. So it's really weird because throwing that out there and getting those fish to follow in, I didn't really know how to follow it up. I tried throwing a wacky rig, but I was just kind of blind casting off this big point. So that part I'm still kind of on the fence about how I'm going to work it. It might just be one of those where I lock that in my hand all day. And I'm going to dive farther into this stuff. I'm going to start pinging questions and stuff. Chris, I see. How deep are we talking? For crankbaits, I'm talking like 10 feet and over because I'm super confident with like 8 foot and below. 6 foot diver, I've thrown forever. Ton of confidence in a 6 foot diving crankbait. The problem is once we start getting to like 10, 12, 15, 20 foot, I don't even think I have anything that can go 20 foot. So definitely not my deal, but really like the 10 and over, I would like to focus on more because being able to use electronics and find some of those trees that are submerged or a road bed where it's maybe, I don't know, 8 foot and it drops down to like 15 foot in this road bed. Places like that are things I would like to try to focus on and crank more. A lot of the lakes we have around here are grass, so some of them just aren't going to lend themselves to cranking and stuff. So it's not something I'm going to push, obviously on every lake every time, but there are places where I know it will do good for both of these techniques, and I want to try to focus on it. So those are the 2. So David, great idea. We're going to dive into all that more. I want to hear from everybody else too. Jigs and frogs. I see multiple people saying the frog. Another one, Bass AF frog. Deep cranking is my nemesis, says Jason. 3 to 5 foot. Yeah, I would say like the probably 4 to 7, 8 foot is probably my confidence for cranking. Maybe even 3. Yeah, I would agree. Like 3 to 8 foot. Just tied on a DT10. Yep, I've got some DT10s. Definitely want to throw those some more. Not a ton, but yeah. Oh, dude, I would love to hook up with Hank. Hank and I have wanted to meet up. Me, him, and Jim. You know, obviously we've done the lives and stuff. Would love to meet up with those guys someday and fish. If I didn't have, you know, work and stuff, it spoils the plans. That means you can't just drive around and fish all day. You got to work. But yeah, I would definitely love to fish with those guys and get Hank on out here if he travels, because I know he's thinking about going full time YouTube. If he does that and everything lines up and he maybe travels some more, he gets out this way, it would be really cool to take him on some of those lakes and have him break it down with his electronics. And, you know, as him being somebody that's really good at deep fishing, and me, I suck at it. But in return, we could get him on some hot frog bites, some hot shallow top water, stuff like that, you know, maybe that he doesn't get to do a whole lot. Pig Jig's in here. What's up, buddy? Okay. So for deep crank, so people were asking questions on how deep, what are you talking about for deep cranking? So I'm just going to kind of give some ideas here and look at a few. So 6 to 10, I know I've got some 6 to 10 foot divers. So I've got some of the Bandit 300s that I think get down to like 8 foot, but a lot of these square bills and stuff, very confident in that already. It's really toward the farther end of that is where I start to get like the DTs. I know I've got a bunch of DT, not the 8s. I think that was a new one a couple years ago. DT 6s and 10s. I know I've got some. Also some of the Normans, like 8-ish foot divers. But stuff in this kind of area, and I'm going to go back. I can't watch chat and do this since I'm solo flying. Dizzle's still out in Nebraska. Haven't heard from old Dizzle. Oh, whoops. I didn't even realize I was on that layout. Haven't heard from Dizzle for a minute, so hopefully he's well. He's out there doing Nebraska things. He gets sidetracked when he's out there and forgets to hit up old Debo. But let's see, like these 300s, 8 to 12 foot. Like, you know, this fall, Brando had a great day throwing the 2 and 300 bandits. I was throwing the stupid tube. So 2 different ways to attack, and both of us having success. So bandits, I know I've got a bunch of those. I've got some Normans. Let's see what else in here. I do have some of the Money Badgers, and you know what I actually really, really like from Berkeley is the dime. I've got a bunch of the dime 10s. That thing is nice. Had some good success on that last year toward the end of the year out fishing with Brando, catching smallies. But definitely need to do that more. I did just pick up some bombers. I left the box upstairs, but I did pick up some of the newer bombers, like these, the 6A. I used to throw bombers a ton back in the day. I don't know what they did, but they're only $3.99 now, and they seem solid. They've got good hooks on them. Seem to be just as well made. So I don't know how they got the price down, but Black Pearl, that one was a staple. Did they have the splatter back in this one, or is that that's the Bandit? This purple AU, I absolutely love. So I've got some choices in that one, or some options. Let's see here. I'm not big on like the rock crawlers and a lot of those other, you know, hot ones like the Norman, like the DD22. I think I've got maybe 2 of those. I've got some old Bill Dance. Let's see, were those have been Excalibur at the time? Can't throw those though. But those were just cool because they were Bill Dance. I bought them. I've never thrown those. So stuff like that. Let's go back and look at the even deeper. So this is where I really like to focus, like 12 to 15 feet. We've got a lot of places around here that aren't crazy deep, you know, that might only get to, you know, 25 feet. But a lot of these places you can find this, you know, structure and stuff in this kind of 15-foot area. I know I've got a few of the 5XT. Does that get to like what? 12? Okay, so that's a 15-foot. I know I've got some of these. Let's see. Money Badger. Norman NXS. I just bought a bunch of these too. I had multiple people tell me that these used to be the deal. They don't have much of a color selection, but I did grab a few of these. They got the lavender shad. That's all you need. Purple, kind of see-through shad. I got them on LureNet as well. So they had, I think, a couple other colors that weren't on here, like a shad color and stuff. But those are supposed to be solid. What else? More Strike Kings. Berkeley Dime right there. Those are money. 10, the 15 as well. I've got multiple ones of these. Some really good colors come out with these, what, a couple years ago? Last year? Beginning of last year? Or the year before? I don't remember either one. But a bunch of the good colors. In the Fritz side, you know, as another flat-sided colder water one that I absolutely love. I've had a bunch of good success on that. But again, only going to like the whatever, the Fritz side 8 or whatever. Not really going much above that ever. So some options for the cranks. Now for gear, we'll get into gear here. See, back in, I am way behind on chat. Let me go back. How do you organize what you decide to bring? It depends on the lake. If I know ahead of time, I'm not big at like changing lakes as I'm out there. So if I go to a lake, even if it's pretty slow, I'm sticking it out. I'm not big for like packing up. Let's try 3 different lakes. So I pretty much know what they're going to be like usually ahead of the time. The only thing is usually not clarity, but most of the grassy lakes are grassy year after year. Might change when they get grassy, but we've got, you know, rocky lakes that don't get that way. So I kind of decide them, but I keep a little bit of everything in the kayak. So that's not a great answer to that, but that's kind of how I do it. And then extra stuff I just keep in my truck. That way, if I need to switch out stuff, I can just run back to my truck and switch out boxes. Let's see. Does it matter? That's the $1 million question, Dakota. Everybody's got their preferences. Everybody's got, you know, confidence lures, confident types. Some of them definitely have different actions. Like the dime is one that's meant to mimic like a balsa bait, a little bit tighter action. Some of them will have that wider action. Some of them are meant to get down quicker. You know, some of them are so similar that no, I don't think it makes a difference. Again, it comes down to a confidence thing. But yeah, there are definitely some that have, you know, different sounds. Some might have the BBs versus like a one knocker sound. Just kind of depends. Well, for deep cranking, okay, so I should preface this. The reason I suck at deep cranking is because I've never been a big electronics guy. If you're going to go out fishing deep, you need to know what you're fishing. And I'm not saying you have to have live scope, but you need to be able to mark and check, you know, what you're hitting. Otherwise, you're just blind, you know, blind casting everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. So if I can see that I'm in 15 foot of water and there's a, you know, a submerged tree or whatever that comes up to 10 foot, you know, hitting the top of that or paralleling alongside of that. If it's a road bed, you know, like a road bed or a cut, you know, an old stream bed, something like that, hitting the sides of that and coming down it. But yeah, usually most of the time I'm trying to stay in contact with that stuff. Unless there's some sort of structure that I'm trying to, you know, just ping the top of it or something like that. But really just like I would any other crankbait. It's just the problem of trying to locate it and figure out what I'm looking at is the hard part. And side scan's great for that. You don't have to go super expensive. I mean, I got mine. I've got the, gosh, which one do I have? The Hook 9, whichever one that is. It's got down and side scan and has been pretty cool once I've kind of figured out how to lock that in and use that a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, and I feel like this about almost a few different bites, Clay. Like if the wood bite is on, like I'm finding fish tight to wood, oftentimes I don't think it really matters exactly what type of plastic you have. If you've got a fall rate that's pretty much the same and you've got a bait with some action to it, I think a lot of times it's where you put that bait and how far it's going down or how fast it's going down. Like if they're always hitting it on the fall, I'm throwing like a 1/4 ounce or a 3/16 something versus, you know, the guy I'm fishing with is throwing a 1/2 ounce and not getting bit. A lot of times I think it's that fall, but just depends. I mean, again, it's a confidence thing. Somebody could be fishing next to me and say, no, completely, it's completely the plastic. It's this exact action that they want, where a lot of times I think it's almost more of exactly where you're throwing that in there and how. Jermaine in the house. What's up, Jermaine? Does color matter deeper? You know, there's been those charts that have come out that show like what colors stay longer in the water as there's less light. And I want to say most of those aren't a huge deal up to like 20 feet, which most of the places I'm fishing aren't going past 20 feet. You know, I would say it's more of like a salt thing where you're going out, or I guess deeper lakes, not even salt, you know, deeper lakes where people are fishing 30, 40, 50 feet down. That's not my thing. I'm not doing that around here. So under, you know, 15 feet or so, I would say they're pretty much all going to hold a color, but I would say that color does matter. I am in the boat that color does matter at certain times, whether it's like a white versus like a sexy shad. Is that going to matter? Maybe not as much, but I've definitely seen it where like white versus green pumpkin can make all the difference. But I think a lot of the pattern things we think too hard on sometimes. And it's just, again, it's a confidence thing. I had a great day on this exact color crappie lure. So I know this is, they're eating the crappie out here. You need this pattern. Seems since forward facing sonar has taken over, you don't see many pros. Yeah, that's exactly what kind of spurred that up and was part of the conversation I had with, I don't remember who that was, somebody on Instagram. We were going back and forth and talking about it. And, you know, they'll hear these people talking about, well, the minnow bite's been so hot, you know, the past couple of years that are fish going to start to recycle and look at other things? You know, they've had a break from all these crankbaits that they used to see going by them. Well, now everybody's out, you know, doing the forward facing shaking stuff, you know, a little jig head, something like this, a little jig head with a plastic shaking this stuff. Are they going to be not as used to the cranks and more apt to bite them? And again, that's the question. I don't know. Some people believe that you can, what's the word? Train fish, you know, get them honed in on a certain lure rather quickly. Some people think it takes longer. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I do know that lures definitely go in rotation from, you know, old school, what worked, and then something new. Everybody's throwing it for a couple of years. Look at like the plopper. Everybody was throwing it, having success on it. And then as it got hot, people weren't, you know, having as much success on it. Whether or not the fish were used to it and catch on, is that one thing? Or is it just that there was more pressure with it? I don't know. But then you see a lot of those people picking up like a walking bait now, or a popper like me last year. Popper's been around forever. Last year, popper was hands down, without a doubt, the best lure. I feel like I could go anywhere with it and catch fish. But how many people throw poppers? Hardly any, right? Kuda in the house. Hope you're well, brother. I saw your Joker jig, and I was going to comment, but I knew you knew I already saw it because it was purple, and my purple DEBO'S senses were going crazy. Oh, dude, lavender shad is that's an OG color that people absolutely love. I've got a couple of the old ones. Yeah, this is the other thing too, Little Rich. Hooks matter more than color for the deep ones. I stay pretty bait fish neutral. That's the big thing, is like keying in with something that's matching the bait fish. You know, if you've got a lake that's heavy perch, I would say that's probably going to have, you know, better success than throwing a shad pattern if there's no shad pattern there, you know, and vice versa. But, you know, I've seen at times where, you know, you throw something like the mustard, or what is it, the parrot color or whatever, with these like bright blues and greens that we clearly don't have around here, you know, and fish still hit them. Then there's the whole, you can open the can even farther and say, well, the colors we see are not what the fish see, right? Because they have like, they don't have one of the color receptors, so they see stuff different than we do. So then there's a whole different can of things you can open up. So I don't know. Yeah, that does suck with deep cranks. They're kind of hard to store because they got the large lip. Let's talk about gear real quick. So I'm going to show, I just got a couple new rods from Cashin. They were nice enough to send me a couple rods a while back. We're probably going to work on a couple things this year together, but I picked up two more. This is their deep cranking. So the deep crankbait Icon, 7.6, moderate fast, medium heavy, rated 10 to 17 pound, 3/8 to 1 ounce. This thing feels so dang good. It's your, you know, your moderate fast, not super whippy, since it's a medium heavy, made perfect for those a little bit heavier cranks. And since they're going to be getting down there and really digging, that medium heavy is a lot better than, you know, thinking about a like a 6-foot diver. Some of those are real waffly for smaller cranks. This is perfect. Going to be perfect for that. As I say that, not being a confident deep cranker, it's perfect for what I think of what I would want for deep cranking. How's that? Is that better? And I picked up the Revo winch. I've been really happy with the Revos. I feel like they have either gotten no showtime, people have just kind of skipped over them, or people have unjustly hated on them because they changed it in their Abu. I really like the Gen 5 Revo stuff. It wasn't the best caster. The SX was the one I tested in casting that I just did, I don't know, what, month ago, 2 months ago, whenever that was. It wasn't the farthest casting, but it does cast well. And for this, the winch, I'm hoping having just a little bit more weight to it and a lighter line. I'm thinking probably 12 pound for deep cranking. What does everybody use? I was thinking either 10 or 12. You know, obviously the lighter line you go, the farther you're going to get it down. But if I'm fishing a lot of timber and stuff, I don't want to go super light. I feel like a lot of guys go to like a 10 pound. TJ in the house. Jim, if you're not busy, you can hop on if you want. I'm flying solo. We still got another hour to roll. Text me if you want to hop on. You might have just got home and are eating, but you're welcome. I like lipless cranks. Yo, dude, lipless are amazing. Little Rich, I love to dig a deep crank down the side of a dock. We don't have tons and tons of docks around here. We've got a few lakes, but it's not like, it's crazy going up to like Minnesota. I guess Minnesota was the big one where like all those lakes that we went to, everybody had docks, tons of docks out there. We've got a few lakes like that, but no, if you go to like Northwest Iowa, which is crazy to think about, I'm in Southeast Iowa, almost all the way over. It takes me like 4 or 4.5 hours to get up to Northwest Iowa to like Lake Okoboji, which is probably the best fishery here. And a lot of deep fishing. That's one that goes super deep. But it takes me just as long to get there as it does to get over to Chicago, which is pretty crazy. Let's see. Deep crank, blue black chartreuse sides is one of the top picks. I like it. I like it. Got some tubes I don't see. Yeah, dude, exactly, Wes. I mean, after going up north and fishing tubes, yeah, I mean, everybody's throwing the Ned rig, yeah, and the tube has a different look to it. It's got that like fluke kind of gliding fall to it. It's got a different look when you pop it. It's got those tails and stuff back there. Yeah, I had some good luck on it this year, and I didn't even fish it much, but the times I fished it, I caught fish every time. So I feel like I actually learned something when they aren't using forward-facing sonar and they have to use just side and down. I've seen both ways. I mean, I'm not in the camp of I hate electronics. You know, Brando's got, you know, the guy I fish with on his boat, he's got it, and the stuff I've seen from that is really interesting, especially being able to find stuff, you know, real time, not even seeing the fish. I would say 8 out of 10 times, we're not even actually seeing the fish, but we're able to move and, what's the word? Not navigate, position ourselves in a way where we've seen this grass line or we've seen this log, and we're able to fish it a little bit easier because you're not, the problem with side scan is in my kayak, you know, I'm pedaling, I'm kind of tubby and out of shape. So I've got to go by it a couple times and it's kind of hard to mark like in my head where it's at. That's why I want to get a couple old school marker buoys. Because I'm still kind of struggling with exactly where, okay, where is 45 feet off to my right? And where exactly is it? Because, you know, my transducer is in front of me. Where exactly is it showing up on my return versus where it's at? So I want to get some marker buoys, be able to throw those over in fish spots, but being able to see that real time, doesn't matter where I go, you can keep pointed at that target, you know, and keep casting at it and keep hitting it. So that to me is just crazy with forward facing sonar. But I mean, there's only been a couple times that I was out with him where he's like, oh, I see, it looks like there's a big fish on that tree, you know, and he was able to catch it. But most of the time it's being able to stay on that and stay, you know, in that target zone. Yeah, river guys, and I feel like northern guys definitely still use the tubes. Guys that fish the Mississippi always have a tube. Dustin, I don't see Dustin in here yet, but he's a huge tube guy. A lot of those guys are on the river. But he's, again, there's another difference. He's a Texas rig tube guy, my buddy Dustin. Y'all got to see me fish with him. We didn't get a lot last year. I have the most envy. Somebody needs to make a DEBO purple. Speaking of purple, he has the coolest boat I've ever seen because it was purple and silver and absolutely sick. Question, does rod action really matter a whole lot? For certain things, I think. For some things, I think we completely overthink it. And you can also kind of buffer that with your line. So if you've got a real stiff rod and you go with braid that has no give, it's going to be a pretty tough system. So you're going to have to, make sure you're playing that fish, always keeping the rod bent. But if you've got a decently stiff rod and you put mono on it, now you've completely changed up how all that acts. But like let's say a 7-foot, 7.2 medium heavy, fast action can do so much. With fluoro on there, fluoro's got stretch. Oh, there's Dustin. Fluoro's got stretch. I think that's a misconception. It just takes a little bit more power to put stretch into it. Doesn't have as much stretch as mono, but it's not like braid that really doesn't have a stretch to it. So I don't know where I was going with that. I was rattling stuff off my head, but oh yes, sometimes I think it does matter, but sometimes I think we're fishermen. Part of fishing is kind of being a hoarder and liking to try stuff. I'm clearly guilty of it. And I like to tinker with gear. I'm a big gear tinkerer. So, yeah. And you're going to see all kinds of different stuff. Like I got a 5-speed. That Revo winch is like a 5.6 because I have a tendency to reel too fast. So with that, being deeper, digging deeper, I'm okay with that. If you're somebody that reels super slow or doesn't get burnt out, with something like that, yeah, you can go with a faster speed, 7-speed. I feel like the reels have gotten better now to where like a 6-7 speed, even when you put, part of the reason is people wanted that torque back in the day because as that lure would get down, I don't know if it's the cutting of the gears now or the size of the gears, but you'd be really like grinding, right? It was hard to do because of that, that drag, that lure hitting, the drag of it. It's, it could really tax those reels and it was tough, but I feel like with technology now, the way things have changed, like big spinnerbaits, for example, there's so much drag in a big spinnerbait. I remember back in the day, I would have reels that sounded like they were on their last leg trying to just reel the spinnerbait in, and now I throw a spinnerbait on a 7-speed all the time and it feels completely fine. So gear has definitely come a way. Bandit 200 with 10 or 12. Yeah, I like 10 for a lot of the like 6 to 8 foot divers, but I think, 12 will be my go-to. Is it good to use a medium power rod for medium-sized cranks? Yeah, it just depends. I mean, some people like a softer rod. Some people like a heavier rod. For me, I'm kind of matching the rod up, the power of the rod with the size of the lure. So if I'm throwing a crankbait that's a 1/4 ounce, I wouldn't want to be throwing that on a stiff, medium heavy rod like this, something that's not going to load it very well. It's going to be a pain in the butt to cast. So if I'm throwing like little 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce, yeah, a medium is perfect for that. Daniel, can you cash out and retrieve a tube? Oh, cast, I think, out and retrieve a tube or just jigging it. Never used one here in Chicago. It's used a lot. No, I've always fished them like a jig. I'm hopping it off the bottom and then letting it fall, do that kind of spiral. I've seen people put them on the back of chatterbaits. I suppose you can do a lot of stuff with it, but it's not going to have a ton of action just swimming it. Really, the key to it is that kind of spirally fall and the tentacles as you pop it. Malone's in here. What's up, buddy? Tubes Rules. Bass Dope's in here. What's up, buddy? Daniel. People talking amongst themselves. Looks like maybe somebody's selling rods. We got bait haggling going on in here. Gear haggling. Hey, Dustin, speaking of hoarding, I'm sorting tackle and getting ready for the swap meet. Yeah, I'm still deciding if I'm going to go to that or not. I don't know if it'd be big enough to like do a like a YouTube video on it. It could be cool going around to some of the, the little displays and stuff, see what people have, maybe find some new stuff. I don't know. I mostly use medium rods, have a light and heavy also. That spiral fall is what gets them. Yeah, exactly. That spiral's the deal. Okay, so that's the gear for that one. I didn't see, Jim must have just stopped in to say, hey, he never texted me. He didn't want to hop on. Everybody hates Debo. I can't even get a guest on here anymore. That's how rough it is these days. They see my basement and how dirty it is, and they don't want to be associated with this. Okay, so let's go to the second. We'll get some more crank tips. I'm not going to give you deep cranking tips. Questions and stuff here as we go. I did also link my YouTube or my Tackle Warehouse link and my LureNet link in case you go grab anything at those. If you use my links, it does help support the channel. Appreciate you do. If you don't, if you go somewhere else to buy it, that's okay. Still love you too. But this one, Rich would have liked this. I don't know that he's still in here, but I got one of the old Chronarchs. American Legacy is a great spot to look for used stuff. I got this thing cheap when they had like the 25% off deal or whatever. They run like deals. So I got this baby. Feels awesome. This was the first model of the Chronarch that they changed. This was the E series. So right after the Corrado E, this one came out as they transitioned over to the Corrado G, which was the first Corrado no longer made in Japan, for the nerds that care about any of that. But this was the first one they kind of changed up to this, and it's essentially just the Corrado E in the Chronarch form. It's supposed to be, I think they said, a little bit better spool or something in it, like minor things, but it's essentially just the Corrado. Again, this was one that Cashin actually sent me, one of the Swimbait rods to try out. This one is rated 7/8, moderate fast, medium heavy, line 12 to 50 pounds, 1/2 to 3 ounce. And this thing feels sweet. This is one of the Wade hogs from Toxic Baits. I've followed Caesar for a long time. I've got some of his old swim baits that I said I was going to throw and never did. But he makes great stuff. That's one of the new ABS versions. So they're only like $50. And that's part of my hate with, I shouldn't say hate. Part of my reason I haven't wanted to get into swim baits is because of the cost and how much some of these are. Like, I was looking for like a 4 to 5 inch little like one-piece swim bait. I found some. They were great, but they were like $150. And that's just crazy to me. Now that I have the kayak, I can get into some of those more expensive, but I don't, it's just the cheap Debo in me. It's the premise of spending that much on a swim bait. It's just really hard for me to do. So that's just like the Wade hogs. He has the ABS versions of those, which are like $100, $110, something like that. But when they've got the $50, I love to support the small bait makers, but some of these you can never get them. The drops are so infrequent and then they're crazy expensive. And I'm not faulting them for making it because it takes a crap ton of time. I've been working on, I forgot to bring it down, but I've been working on a single jointed glide bait of my own, a 4-inch with the tail. It's about 5 inches. I'm like, it couldn't be that hard. Of course, I watched a Marling video because you watch one of his and you think you can do anything. That guy's on a completely different universe of bait making. And I watched a couple. There was like a 15 or 14-year-old kid making one that looked amazing. Made one just like that. I'm like, it can't be that hard. Oh my Lord. Yeah, I can 100% tell you that I want to do something in the fishing industry. If I could get out of like financial corporate USA job, I would love to find a job in the fishing industry. It will definitely not be a solo garage wood bait maker. I'm not a carpenter, and makes you definitely appreciate the time they put into it. So I'm not knocking them for the price. It's just, for me, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to spend that. So I spend it on a Chronarch and a rod instead, right? And then I put some 17-pound P-line CXX on there. The big game mono is another one that people throw. Some people go braid, some people go fluoro, whatever works for you. But that's that setup. So I'm really excited for that because most everything I have, 90%, I think, of all the swim baits are under 3 ounces. But if we look at some here, I did pick up a couple others that I'm really excited about when Tackle Warehouse had their sales. And this is actually funny enough. You remember last week when I was saying I was posting saying, hey, I would like to get some experts on because I would like to do that for deep cranking too. I might have to start scouring, get somebody like Timmy Horton or, gosh, who else? Somebody that's just known for deep cranking. I did that for swim baits and said, hey, everybody, who would you guys like to see? I reached out to like 5, I think, swim bait makers and people. I was ghosted by all of them except for one. So I am going to have one on here hopefully in a few weeks. It's busy season because it's show season, right? They're doing the shows and stuff at all the different places. But the one I am going to have on is hopefully Clutch swim baits. And they were a newer one. I didn't know much about them until, I don't know, a month or so ago. I'd actually already picked up one of their baits. That was one that came at high recommendation, was to get the Clutch Eco. And Tackle Warehouse is dead. What's been the deal with Tackle Warehouse? I feel like every other time I go to it, it's half dead. And then it'll go to that error message thing, and then I have to reload it. I have to give it CPR here. Okay, so the Clutch one. So the original Clutches are pretty expensive. I don't remember how much they are. The Eco's $95. It's already kind of expensive, but I got it on sale when they had the 25 or 30 off. So I think I got it for 70. Still expensive, I know. But people have said the bang for the buck, this is one of the best. And look, they're in stock. You can find them. You don't have to wait and like set 15 alarms to try and, get on a drop of this. And do they say here? It's a resin bait. They should say it here somewhere, but it's a resin bait that actually chops all the way side to side. This joint allows it to kick all the way over both ways, where a lot of the ones I've looked at will only go to like kind of here. I don't know what degree that would be. 30 degrees maybe. They're readily available. Everybody said they're really good. So I picked up one of those, and that one I've got a lot of hope for. I got one of these. So at $40, a lot of people have said this one's really good. Now this one I took out of the package. This is actually the one I got. They've got a bunch of really cool colors. Took it out of the package, and it goes okay one way, but it only goes to like here, the other side. So like here, and then like here. So hopefully it will wear in. But yeah, kind of stink. Let's see. What's chat saying here? Frank, I grabbed the Fenwick Elite bass rod you recommended. Can't wait to get out. Nice. Yeah, those were solid rods, especially for the price when they were completely cutting those. Yeah, David. Got me a Wade Hog Jr. Can't wait to throw it, but yeah, even at $50. Oh, yeah. Luckily, those float, though, so if you're in a yak or boat, you can go retrieve it. Let's see. Hawk in here. Hawk, what's up, buddy? I love the avatar. Yeah, okay, so here's the other thing. I was going to film a video on it, but as long as it was taking me, it was painful trying to figure it out. It turned out okay, but I didn't record it because it was quite the process, and I'm pretty sure nobody was going to want to watch me, because all I had was my my utility knife, your normal utility knife with the razor blades, that and sandpaper, and it took me, I think, 700 hours to get it even on each side, because I don't have any power tools. I don't have a bandsaw. I don't have a belt sander, nothing like that. So kind of comical. I'll have one. Hopefully I can catch a fish on it, but yeah, I completely agree, Michael. That's the part of it. I can't knock them for the price, because there's so much time and work that goes into it. And if people are buying them, they're so popular right now that, hey, make your money. It's just hard for me to actually, get that. Hey, Patrick in here. Patrick, hopefully you're well. Frank Skillish. I would love to have Uncle Frank on again. He was a load of info. Ton of fun. We'll have to reach out to him and see if we can get Frank on. Clutches were sick. Yeah, I had a ton of people. That was the Clutch and Buka were the two most recommended swim bait companies to get on. And I will just say that I did reach out to Buka, so you can determine how that went, since only one answered me back after hitting him up, and that was Clutch. So Clutch Eco 2, yep, get them on sale for when they were 70. Yeah, even that's steep, but if they work good and they're available, like, okay, because you only need one, right? I mean, I don't feel like you need 17 different colors. I got a shaddish color. It's the real choppy one. I don't think it's, I don't think I'm going to need 50 of these. So Gramps, are you saying you're having Josh on from Clutch? Yeah, I kind of feel bad because he was just on I haven't watched it yet, but on what's his name, the podcast. And I'm like, God, I hate to like, I wanted to get somebody like as a first that hadn't been shown for a while. I hate getting, it seems like when people have guests, they do the rounds and like, oh, I just saw you on 7 different channels. You know, it'd be nice to get somebody that hasn't been on, but he's a load of info. I'm sure coming from my point of view as a complete dummy noob at this, he'll be able to teach us some stuff. So, let's see what else. Pretty new to bait casters. Swimbait, Swimbait, Whitlam Fool. I was gonna get the Dremel out, but man, I've hogged stuff off with the Dremel before by accident. So I'm like, man, I better just keep sanding and do it the slow but sure way here. Mike Vogel in the house. How's it going, Mike? Yeah, that's the thing is they look so good, and I've had people will say like, you know, are big swim baits just a big roost, right? Are they overrated? I think to some degree, yes. But there's definitely something to the drawing power, because on the days where I've had followers, it's just crazy how many fish that you can have honed right in on it. So I would kind of like to find a little bit smaller size maybe around here that's more appealing to, you know, I'm not fishing lakes with 10, 13 pound bass like Texas, you know, so I would like to kind of figure some of it out. Ruben, what knot do you plan, I'm assuming, for swim baits? I've heard it matters for swim baits. Drew Gregory doing the tour. No, I don't think so. I think as long as you use a strong knot for braid is the double shindo for me. That thing is strong as heck. Can use like a doubled over San Diego jam knot. That's probably the best, strongest braid knot you can tie. I don't know that there's a stronger knot that you could do than that. And for like my fluoro and stuff, same thing, the double shindo, you know, for the smaller swim baits, you know, a Palomar or something, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I like the knots where they're doubled over. I don't use like a single line through knot at all anymore. And I barely ever break off. Let's see. Trilene, the knot or the line, big game mono is a big one people throw, and that's pretty cheap. Oh wait, we were talking about swim baits here. Were there any other ones, good ones I wanted to talk about? I did get one of these bait sanity ones. I had a bunch of people, not that one, that's the custom. The regular Tackle Warehouse one is cheaper here. $79. I think I got that on sale for $50, I want to say, when they had the Tackle Warehouse sales. So something like this. I had multiple people tell me this one's amazing. I can't. I'm not going to pay $235 for a bait. And I watched somebody shared a video where Fluke Master had this guy on Dreamcatcher or something. The video was awesome. The way he explained, like the way he used the different ones really made sense. And I don't watch, you know, a lot of YouTubers like how-to stuff. I kind of like to figure out stuff on my own unless it's something I really want to know. You know, like I've watched some of the old tactical bassin ones where they were talking about like the Buka shad. Most of the time I like to kind of figure my stuff out, but swim baits, I'm just so lost on them. I've been watching a few, and that one was really good just to explain the different types. But anyway, he was talking up this one, and I went and checked it out, and I had people tell me about that. I'm like, holy crap, 235. But the big thing with this one is it's the break in the middle where the thing can go completely 90 degrees. So you can really like stall that thing in an area almost like a topwater popper. So if you're bringing it by a tree, you can kick it back and forth without actually bringing it to you too much, where a lot of these are big wide glides, you know, where they're coming at you. So that really made sense when he talked about that. But I'm like, I ain't paying that much. That's why I tried to make my own. But I went and I picked up that clutch. I'll show you what I'm talking about here, the Eco. And this one does it. So this is that Eco Glide for $70. That thing goes all the way over, right? So you can kick this, 90 degrees and really make this thing just go boom, 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 and stay, right there at that, that piece of wood or cover or dock or whatever. And again, that's a resin bait. So you can see there, this is resin. You can see the imperfection holes in it and stuff. A resin bait, it's not plastic. So you've got, bait makers making these, charging $150 for something like this. So for what you get for it, I think it's a good value. Now, and it's got the rotating swivel hangers in it too. So, oh, and actually, as I just say that, for this type, tying a loop knot, that was another tip that guy gave. I need to go find his video, but Dreamcatcher or something, I think somebody on here will probably know. But that's a tip he gave, is to put a loop knot just like you would a topwater, and you can really accentuate and really make that kick side to side, as opposed to just tying straight to that nose and doing it that way. So there we go. What else? I had something. Oh, line, trilene. So yeah, big game for me. I'm using the P-Line CXX. I got that stuff cheap back when Gander Mountain was going out of business. Take a drink. But they had that. I got a bunch of the blue box, which people kind of talk crap about it. They say just go to the Sunline, go to the, what is it? The Sniper is the one up. Super. So I got a bunch of the, whatever the blue box was, and it was like a couple bucks. I mean, they were selling it dirt cheap. Did I miss it? What the hell? Wait, what? Do they not sell it anymore? Wait, they must just do it out of... Oh, here we go. Sunline, what is it? Sunline. I don't remember what the hell it is. It's in a blue box. Sunline. Has like a blue, oh, here. Super fluorocarbon. People have said it's not that good, but man, I've had really good luck with all the stuff I got. I think they were like $2.99 a roll. Yeah, I really like that. Otherwise, you know, the P-Line Tacticals for sure my go-to. Super soft. If you want to throw fluorocarbon, but yeah, so the P-Line CXX, the big game mono, and then some people, you know, like braid and stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy with line. I would say I feel like a lot of the videos I've watched, everybody kind of has the consensus that people tend to go like way too heavy on some of these baits. Like this Wade Hog's only, I don't know what, 2 ounces. You know, this clutch darter is right under, I think, at 1.75. So I'm going with 17 pound. You know, I'm not going with 20, 25 pound, you know, crazy mono size. I'm not throwing these big, huge ones. So I think that was what the tactical bassing guys said too, watching that. And I watched an old River to Sea, which I've thrown that, and I didn't like it. I thought the action on it sucked, but they've had good luck. But anyway, they said going with lighter line, like 15, 17, you know. Let's see what else we got for questions. Where's Stubby? He was upstairs. He was down here today with Chris and I. He absolutely wouldn't leave Chris's side. He loves company. Yeah, it should come with goggles and a snorkel for any swim bait over $200. Exactly. Can't you file the joint? You can, but if they're a resin bait like this, yeah, you can go as far as you want because there's nothing inside of it. It's just a solid piece of resin. A lot of these, though, where that joint comes together, some of them join and hit right there. So you could file it, but you're going to create a crack there. So you'd have to repair it. And I don't really want to mess with that on a lot of them. I know some people do that with like some of the River to Seas and stuff, but the ones I was looking at have, I don't remember which one it was that I was like, oh, this one would be great. I don't remember, but looking at it, it's kind of a translucent color, and right at that corner, man, it's right there. So I don't really want to fart with having to repair. Plus, like if something like this works, again, I mean, okay, this is a shad color with, you guys probably can't see it, but a green top and like a purplish bluish, like highlight color shift to it. If you can see that. I mean, to me, this is close enough that, is it going to matter if this is a black back, like a gizzard shad versus the green? Hell, I don't know. I would think not. I would think it's going to be that action and close enough of a color, but suppose we shall see. Anybody using speed clips instead of split rings? Actually, Tackle Junkie got me on, what was it, the Norman ones he uses a bunch. I am not a big fan of clips. In the old days, the clips sucked so bad that they just ruined I've straightened out multiple of those, like one of those crappy brass ones where it's like, it's just got like the holder thing and you pull it out and it's just a straight piece and then you push it back in. I've straightened out so many of those that it's just like, I quit using them a long, long time ago. But now they've, I mean, the snaps and like speed clips and stuff have come a long way. So I know a lot of people do. After watching Never Spend Money on Fluorocarbon Again. Yeah, some people think it's a waste. I don't know. I mean, people caught lots and lots and lots of really big fish using mono back in the day. I mean, that's all my dad ever used. Trilene, mono, and the red box XL. Let's see. Big fan of the K9 fluorite. I think that's what Hank uses. I've heard him talk about it before. I've never used. Do they have it on Tackle Warehouse? I feel like there for a while they were like a smaller company. You couldn't really find, or at least I didn't ever see their stuff. When do they not have it by? Here we go. No. Yes, I don't know. You must have to get it on their website. Not there. Just don't have the guts to throw the expensive glides. Our river's way too snaggy. Yeah, rivers are a different animal. Who knows what's floating around in the river? What's your favorite braid knot to tie? My favorite's the double shindo, which is just like a doubled over clinch knot. So you do your doubled over line, do your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, and then you just go through the bottom above the hook eye and tighten it. You don't go back up through the, the circle you created. It's just kind of like a cheater doubled over clinch knot. Let's see. If you need a bait that expensive. Yeah, that's part of me is like, I just the thought of it. I don't even want to spend that much. But hey, if this could be it. This could be the year where I go out and throw this silly little, this $70 bait. And who knows, maybe I hook up with a 10-pounder here in Iowa. Almost beat the state record, all because I finally decided to throw some baits. Oh, Jeffrey, thank you, brother. Yeah, Dreamcatcher, I thought that's what it was, is now America's Outdoor Family. There you go. That's the guy that was explaining it. I would go check out his channel. He's a swimbait connoisseur, apparently. But yeah, the way he explained the different times of the different baits, like the gliding versus a quick, sharp cutting versus like the bigger tail swim baits, matching it with water temperature and the time of the year was probably one of the best ones that made sense for me anyway, that really made it tick. Rod has the right action. Yeah, the first time I snap one off, like a sinking one, and watch it fly into the abyss and just go, I'm going to go swim. Areas are you planning to target with the larger baits? Usually areas in the water, Mike. That's the biggest thought. No, so with the bigger baits, I do want to do more of the cover shelter type areas that I haven't done that with swim baits. I haven't locked a swim bait in my hand. That's what it's going to have to be. I'm going to have to take a few of those out and just take those with me. That's it. And throw it by laydowns, next to docks, big rock piles and stuff that I know that are there. Fishing stuff like that, like I would a spinner bait or, some of these jerk baits. Essentially, that's kind of what he was talking about this as. That's what other people have said in here too, is think of this bite as like a jerk bait bite. Spots like that where I can fish it all day and not just throw it for like 45 minutes, get frustrated and switch back to my other stuff. It's going to be a learning process. So people have said they want it. The videos might suck and they might tank if I catch like one fish on it or nothing, but whatever. I'm not here to get rich off YouTube. So you all can learn with me. Do I think the newer Gen 3 speed spool will be a good reel? I do. I think it'll be fine. The only question is longevity. I know they switched this one from being made in Korea to China, but it's still got the dual supported pinion gear, which is a big deal. Still got the aluminum frame. So I think it's going to be pretty good. I've had it out casting it and using it. I had cranks on it. I threw some spinner baits on it. Something else. Felt great. So I think it'll be just fine if you take care of it. People buy lots of people. Oh yeah, people catch lots of fish using mono. Absolutely. I've never given up on mono. I still prefer mono for topwater. I don't like using straight braid unless it's frogging. Yeah, I like my poppers, walking baits, all that on mono. I think it's 1,000 times easier to work and use. Am I using fluorocarbon on any of my BFS stuff? Yes. I got some of the Daiwa Samurai 4-pound fluorocarbon. It's expensive, but it's really nice, really smooth, easy to cast. Otherwise, I've been using mono on the other ones. I got from Bait Finesse Empire. It's the Varivas mono 4-pound. And I have really liked that. So both of those have been solid. Trevor says the Norman speed clips are amazing. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people suggesting those. What else we got? I can't believe we're already at 55 minutes. This absolutely flew by. Should we do it? I've seen we were at like 220 people there for a while. We're down to 190. Should we do a giveaway? I bet there's people that have already left because they thought I wasn't doing one. We're doing a giveaway. Must be present to win. Only for my OGs that stay. I don't know what we're going to give away. What should we give away, chat? What other questions you got for deeper cranks or thoughts, theories, questions for deeper cranking and swim baits? What do you think of my combos? Do you think I'm going to be set with those two for people that do that? Do you think those are going to be solid combos? I think they should be. Would you change anything? Would you do something different? Yes. Chris finally got his catch board, and he's just so excited to measure fish. What a dork. Chris, real bass anglers don't measure fish. Come on. Let's see. Mike's late to the party. Hey, better late than never, Mike. We appreciate you hopping in. Square bills and lipless. I love square bills and lipless. Both of those are great. What else we got? What else we got? People talking about going out to fish. Mr. Randall Williams. Sully, I don't know about chunking a glide bait, but most of them are bigger than the fish I catch. Dude, me too. Yeah, that's why I don't know why the hell I'm going to go out and throw a 10-inch bait when the fish that I catch are 10 inches. Some of these. This one, I really feel like this, if I were to put my money on it right now, and I'm not just saying that because he's the only guy that actually responded to me to be on my stupid lives, but that one, I feel from everything I've heard from people, I think that's really going to be the one, and it's that. It's the ability to do that. Being able to find one that goes completely kicked off 90 like that, I think it's been harder to find that doesn't cost like 150 bucks. Giveaway. Joshua, no. Oh, I do. That's the ones I was looking at. Actually, Joshua, now that I say that, the what are they, depths or whatever, Josh was getting one of those glide baits that I found. I bought forever ago that I painted up. It was one of those because I paint here. I'll grab it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves nicely. Okay, so funny story on this one. I painted two of these. The first one turned out amazing. This is probably one of my new favorite patterns. The light here sucks, but it's like a pearly silvery to a yellow pearl line into a purple shift, purple blue up top that's crackled. Anyway, I made two of these. The first one came out perfect. The second, the base coat set, I set it down. It stuck to the paper stuff, so it tore it. So I took and just sanded off everything where it was loose and just sanded. My beautiful mistake, because it's like part opaque, part transparent in the middle. I embraced the suck of what is making a mistake, and I hope it turns out. But this is the style. But see, look at this. So that's all. And the tighter that is, the more of this gliding S-mode. So I was looking at these, and you can, I don't know if it's going to show. So you can see it's got a little bit of a lip here, but where it actually connects in there. So if I were to take like a Dremel or a sander and I can more, but I'd have to think of a way to like putty that or fix really something I wanted to fart around. But yeah, Joshua's got one coming. His was hot Cheetos, the inspiration he gave me, and he seemed pretty happy with what I that was the one. There it is. My ADHD brain goes this stuff. So soft plastics. What was this? What was the question here? Other people are talking. Okay. Net heads, please. I just made a bunch today. Just Greg. Greg, if you're in the area, come on over. You make it, you take. Is this Jim just now texting me back saying I'm in? No. Oh, this is Patrick. I'll give away a set of the Flashpoint Deep Lures we just released. If you want to give. Oh, yes, I do, Patrick. Thank you, brother. So Patrick has been a great friend of the channel. Let's just go over to old Lure Net. That'll be away now. That is the Booyah Flashpoint Deep. A little bit deeper jerkbait, but I just got some of them in. Went deeper, which I liked because a lot of like the Rapala, oh my God, what is it? Rapala. Oh, there they are. Rapala one that I liked. Is the Maverick? That one is a real throwing just the normal blue, great. And went a little bit deep. Also came out with that's the deeper version. Let me share here. LureNet, Patrick, thank you. Yes. Very oh. Okay, so the new ones that come out, these, how deep do these go? Does it say here? I want to say the other one, 10 foot on standard cast. So get them down a little bit deeper. There's 3, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's going to send all 12. He'll definitely send you a number of these. And they're pretty sweet. They've got the flash. Does it show a view of them here? We might not show. Oh, here. So it's got like the little willow flash in it. Now it says it's supposed to help with the like forward sonar thing, have a better return. I haven't tested that. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make, but I can tell you in clear water, you can see the flash. So it's kind of a cool addition. You know, maybe it gets an extra 2 bites in clear water. You know, if you're in dirtier water, maybe it doesn't show up as much, but it's cool. I've not seen that in a bait. So kudos to them doing something a little bit different, but there you go. They've got a bunch of colors. If I were to pick one as my favorite, that's not that one. It's, well, we're just going to go through all of them real quick. Chrome Dome. That one I think is like the do-it-all bait fish match is sick. So they're going to throw those in. That is absolutely awesome. I appreciate that. I will hold them to that. So we'll do that as a giveaway, which will be awesome because that's going to be coming up. Jerkbait season is coming up for us. Let's see. Tried the Berkeley Nessie Glide. The Berkeley Nessie. Which one is that? Is that the soft one? I've got a couple. Oh, there's Patrick. I've got a couple, but I've not thrown them. I'm interested though. What is the other one? Didn't they have another? What am I thinking of? Oh, the coal shad was the other one. I like the coal shad. I actually like the smaller, I think it was the 6-inch non-rigged coal shad. I really like that one. Yes, the DT10s. I know I've got a few of those, and those are a standard. Those are kind of a staple for a lot of those folks that throw the. Some of my painted Ned heads. Wow, that's like 3 or 4 of those. Maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe I'll do get out in the shop a little bit, do some Ned rig stuff, and do another Ned head giveaway. A lot of people like those. 5-inch mag draft. Yeah, I've got a couple of the 6 inches. The problem is you had to run them faster. Otherwise, I feel like they didn't have much of an action to it. That's why I like the coal shed. You could run them slower. And I had the belly hook in it for fish and brush and all that. Didn't get caught up nearly as much. Berkeley copolymer lines. I don't really use any Berkeley line. Trilene's owned by Berkeley, but Trilene's the only stuff that I use. There's like the Berkeley Vanish that sucked. I do not recommend it. I want to say there's another one. But I did not like the Vanish. Definitely, I did not like. Digs. Totally redoing my approach to fishing. Oh, getting after it, huh? What else we got? Suffolk. Oh, am I lagging? Uh-oh. Getting glitchy. Oh, no. Lag. Hashtag lag. Am I okay now? Hopefully that was just for a little bit. We're not lagging on my side. I'm all Mr. Roboto. Okay, well, hopefully we're back. But let's see. Let's do here in just a second. We'll do a hashtag Walmart internet. We'll do a giveaway of those. Let's see. Baits. Yeah, the Baits 100. I've not tried any of the Baits bait casters yet. So let's see. Oh yeah, Chris said I was getting laggy there. I don't know what happened. I feel like sometimes it tries to connect to my Wi-Fi. Don't I have that off? And I'm hardwired on my computer. So yeah, it says it's turned off. Turn Wi-Fi back on manually. Yeah, so don't do that. I feel like it tries to connect to that. Okay, so anyway, let's do a giveaway of those here. The Booyah Flashpoint Deep. So I thank LureNet for donating those. Ooh, nobody guessed it. Y'all are getting slow. Hashtag Booyah for the giveaway. Not a fan of the Nessie. It's okay. Yeah, is that the soft one? Let me look here. Yeah, the soft jointed one. Yeah, I've not thrown it yet. I do have a couple to throw though. Nessie's just okay. It looks like multiple people saying it's just okay. I like the thought that it's like soft though. But I don't know. Hashtag deep. Oh, good guess. Good guess. Got some of the Berkeley 6-inch hollow belly swimmers. Berkeley 100% fluoro. Yeah, is that no, I'm thinking the Trilene. It's in the gold box. That one was okay. I don't think I had issues with that. What is Berkeley? I didn't even realize they made fluoro. Fishing. Let's see. Fluoro Shield. I've not used the Fluoro Shield. The Vanish sucked. Yeah, I've not used the Berkeley Fluoro Shield though. The Trilene 100% fluorocarbon in the gold box. That was okay. I feel like it was pretty wiry if I remember right. Kind of a stiff one, but okay, people say I'm better now. It's fixed now. I've heard a lot of people talk about that one, the Zell Dangerous paddle tail. Paul, that's good. I had a ton of breakoff issues with it, and I've heard a bunch of other people have too, but maybe I didn't go strong enough or like heavy enough. It can't handle my strength is what I'm saying. No, I am fat and out of shape now. I got to get my butt working at it again. Debo, does anyone make a green pumpkin with gold and silver flake plastic? Yes, that would be Green Pumpkin Magic. I think that only has gold flake in it though. Green or gold and silver flake. I don't know. Look for colors called Green Pumpkin Magic. That's going to be like your Green Pumpkin Gold. I'm not sure if anybody makes a gold and silver flake. You could definitely hit up some small bait makers and have them make you some though. That's the cool thing about working with small companies. Ooh, interesting though. William, I have not tried any of the 7 reels. For anybody that doesn't know, 7 is part of St. Croix. So they have their reel line. I don't know what I guess all came out of that, but I see John Cruz is working with 7 reels now. So I saw he made a post that he's joined the 7 reels family. So he's going to be using all those because he was a big Daiwa guy. So Kind of interesting. Let's see. What do we got for entries? 111. Let's get to 120. We got 111. Let's get to 120. Giving away a set of the new Berkeley Flashpoints, the deeper diving ones, which I'm going to be excited to use. I just got some of the, a couple of the Mega Bass, the small ones, like the little 90 size, the juniors, deeper diving ones. Because I feel like I definitely don't have enough deep diving jerk baits. Most of mine are like in that kind of 5 foot and less. So I'm definitely going to put those Booyah ones to work. Some of those, the Mega Bass. I got a couple of the Rapala ones, the deeper diving Mavericks. Kind of test out and compare them all. Now we're to the Booyah. Hashtag Booyah. 118. We need 2 more people. Hashtag Booyah to enter. Then we'll do a drawing here for a set of those jerk baits or whatever they have in stock. Hashtag bacon. Yeah, also very good. I like Booyah, but I also like bacon. Vanish would make your lure vanish. Yeah, make it vanish clear off into the great blue yonder when I broke off. Berkeley, yeah, they're owned by the same, but I tell you, I've had 1,000 times better luck on Trilene. Trilene's been around forever. What was the old? Was Berkeley owned by, or was Suffolk owned by Berkeley too? Did they own that? Was that Suffolk was Berkeley? I don't remember. Oh, Trilene, man. Trilene's tried and true for me. Trilene XL. Soft, cast well. All right, 124. Here we go. Let's flip this over to the bigger view. And must be present to win. And let's pull here. If it's Joshua Simonson, I'm saying no, because Joshua, you're already getting a special one, and you've won 75 times on my channel. Frederick Correa. Frederick, are you in here? Actually, I won't need to write that down because that's going to get sent directly from LureNet. I will put it here. Okay, let's see. Frederick, are you in here? I'm going to have to skip ahead, so if anybody asks any good questions. Frederick Correa. Frederick, let me know if you're in here. I am here. Okay, Frederick, where are you? Frederick, I need you to email me DEBO'sFishing@gmail.com. A screenshot of your YouTube so I know that it's you and your address, and I will forward that over to them. Because yes, we have had people trying to scam DEBO'S Fishing and get free stuff. I'm like, oh, you won? I don't remember your name. Like, oh, didn't I win? I'm pretty sure it was me. And I'm like, yeah, just send me your YouTube and I'll check the video. They're like, oh, actually, I just went back and watched and it wasn't me. How did you accidentally think it was you that won there, feller? But anyway, luckily that hasn't happened for a while now that I've had people give me their YouTube and the address and all that. So, all right. So what other questions? What other questions, feedback? Let's get into some rapid fire questions, lure talk, deep crank, swim baits. We'll open it up for anything. We're only at an hour 15. I still got another 15, 20 minutes. We got fish and talk to do, y'all. I like doing the fish and talk. It keeps me sane. It was nice having Chris here to talk fishing and combos and lures today. I'm pretty lame. I really don't have many friends, so I look forward to the lives talking fishing stuff. Max weight for BFS. I think like 1/4 ounce for me is kind of the max. Anything over that, you can use like a good light casting, like the Shimano SLX MGL. That is such a nice reel. Easily toss around 1/4 ounce baits. So 1/4 ounce down to like 1/16 is really like as small as I'll go. I don't really care about people throwing the 1/97. I'll just throw a little ultralight spinning rod for that. Why are some of the Strike King the pro models? I think it's different colors. I don't know if there's different. I did see that they just released. That's a good question because I wondered on. Let's just go over. I don't know if some of it's the colors because they just released, I forget what it is. Oh, is it the new square bills maybe? Let me share this here. I saw they've got some sick colors in the new ones. But actually, let's go shop by. Where's brand? They switched this up again. They had it where it was everything was the front page, and I was just getting used to the new version. Now it's switched back to this. Strike King. Strike King. My mouse is going out. I need to purchase a new mouse. Baits. Hard baits. Cranking baits. Here. Okay, so this, I don't know. Let's read and see if there's anything different. So there's the Elite 1.5. Okay, so yeah, those are all the new ones. So those are $7.99. These are $9.99, so they're $2 more. Fine-tuned by KBD is a higher quality version of its predecessor that he used en route to win a Bassmaster Classic in 7, built to generate lively deflections. Silent, no rattle that can use to produce fish. It says it's a slightly better version, I guess. I don't know what that means, but I thought it was just the colors. Sounds like it's more than that. Some of the colors they come out with are sick. Ginger craw. There's one that's got like, oh, the chartreuse bait fish I like. Adding a little hoity-toity pearl paint to it, a little orange on the belly, throat. This Mirage gizzard shad is cool. So I thought it was just the colors. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because they're like this silent, if there's anything different with, I don't know. That would be interesting. Chat, does anybody know? I'm going to have to go back here and look at some of these. Tonight on DEBO'S Therapy Live. Hey guys, thanks for being my friends. Caro, no, I don't have a laser anymore. Funny thing is, okay, funny story. So my old pit dog, Dixie, shelter rescue. I used to work at the Humane Society on weekends, and she was one they were going to put to sleep, and she was the sweetest puppy ever. At the time, I lived in an apartment, so she had to live with my parents, and they were all upset because they're like, "Oh, pit bull, you know, they don't hear bad things about pit bull." Well, my mom cried after living with them for 6 months. They had to give her up to me when I moved in my house. So they're huge fans of the old pit dogs now. But anyway, she got to playing with the laser, and I took her collar and put it up like on her head, like a, I don't know what you would call it. And I stuck the laser here, and she just ran around the whole house, absolutely tiring herself out, chasing it attached to her. It was pretty funny, but I only did that once because that's kind of cool because she could never catch it. But I let her catch it at the end. But anyway, yeah, Kara sent me a video of a guy playing with his fish with the laser. The fish were chasing the laser in the tank. I haven't tried that with fudge stripe. Okay, so does anybody know about the cranks? I'm going to have to go back on some of these. Different color finishes and different hooks. Dustin said maybe. Bringing back some of the OG colors, maybe. Okay, so maybe nobody knows. Higher quality hardware. So is it worth the extra $2? I think that's pretty lame because Strike King hooks sucked. Like you would get a Strike King bait, and I can't stand, even if it's only like a $4 bait, like put decent hooks on. Half of these, like those cheap bronze hooks, just put decent hooks on. They can't cheap. I was able, and I don't even get them in the big discount. I was buying the Mustad triple grips for I think 33 cents each. And, you know, I was only buying a few hundred. If you were to be buying thousands to do this, I'm sure you could get, you know, under 20 cents or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the colors of them look absolutely sick. There's a few in here that look really good. I like this one. Kind of reminds you of the Shizzle color, River Shiner. The Real Gill, pretty cool. So they've got some neat colors. I've got a couple of actually had a couple of good days on the KVD Elite Jerkbait this year, a little bit larger size. But yeah, I do also have one of these I need to throw this year. I got one of these purple saltwaters. Looks pretty sick. Okay, what else do we got for questions? Have you tried Magnum jerk baits? Actually, funny enough that you say that, Casey. Thunderhawk sent me some of these for their muskie and pike. The Slash Magnum. Should I try throwing that this year? Chris and I were just talking today. He hooked up with like 10 muskie last year, all on bass baits, and every single muskie I've ever caught has always been on a bass bait, never an actual muskie bait. Ouch. So here's this clutch. This is 7 inches compared to this jerk bait. This thing is a monster. I love catching pike. I just don't, the places around here, I'm not, we've got kind of more musky lakes here, and in the musky lakes, they don't stock pike. So I need to go north. There's some other places that are definitely better for pike. The river, I need to get out there. But I'm just not a river guy. But anyway, those big, huge suspending Slash Magnums, I might have to take that out for a day and see if we can find some pike, because they're delicious to eat. If you've never ate a pike, I definitely want to get on some more of those and do a catch and cook, because they are tasty. They're just slimy as hell and gross. Have you ever used the 6 or 7 inch Senko? How big of a hook? I have used 6 inch Senkos. I think I used a 5/0 hook on it. I've never used a 7 inch. It's way too big for me. Disappointed Lone Current did not release a new color in the spider. I know, dude. Maybe, hey, Ron, maybe we'll see at ICAST this year. They'll come out with a 6 spider color to quench our thirst for a new Lone Current spider. I don't get into the custom stuff. If Dustin's in here, he's the guy to ask. He's a big balsa guy. Hella Bass. Does Hella? I know Baxter does. Baxter the Baitman is big into him. I would talk to those guys. Or Epic Eric, actually. Epic Eric, too. Watch his stuff when he's on. Oh, there's Dustin. If he's still in here, he might give you some good suggestions. I've got a few of them. I'm not big into spending like crazy money on like trying to find the hard to get ones. For me, the Fritz side for a balsa alternative, I love those for a flat side. I think the best production flat side out there that's not balsa, that acts like a balsa. Hey, Justin, learning deep diving cranks and lipless are his goal. Well, I'm right there in the same boat with you on the deep divers. 3.5 inch tube or a finesse jig. See, these are the days where you like, I need a way to test that because it's so hard. Because like Ned rig versus finesse jig, because there's been days where Dizzle and I have fished right next to each other on the same points, and I've either beat him with a Ned rig or he's outfished me with a finesse jig. So I don't know if it's a profile thing. They like a little bit more of that bulk and dirtier water. The tube is, I mean, it's kind of got that falling action, almost like a mix of like a fluke with a Ned rig kind of. So I'd say if they're glued to the bottom, finesse jig. If you're getting bites on the fall, maybe a tube. But again, maybe they just don't see the tube and mixing it up gets all the bites. Got to test it. Got to try it. Debo, have you used any of the Bass Mooch square bills? I've not heard of Bass Mooch square bills. Are they on the warehouse of tackles here? Bass Mooch square bill. They don't have any squirbles on here. Oh, I do like the tournament mask though. Oh, piss, I'm not sharing. This thing's kind of cool. Cuddy? Could be. I've never heard of this brand, Bass Mooch. This thing is sweet though. Going fast in a boat, my eyes water so much. I need goggles. Fancier hardware. Okay, so everybody's saying, yeah, better hardware on them, better hooks and paint, upgraded hardware and paint. I don't know. If I could get Dizzle to message me back, we might figure out what he's got in the works with Guggen. Is Guggen even still around? I thought that somebody said they were broke up and not. I don't even know. What's in the cup? It is the rest of my Dr. Pepper Zero. And then I've also got a Pepsi Zero here. We stopped at Jimmy John's for supper. The girls wanted Jimmy John's. No dad pops for me. I haven't had any sort of adult beverage or dad pop since May. So done with the dad pops, trying to get in a little bit better shape here. Oh, you missed the Dixie girl. She was in diapers. Oh, yeah. It's so tough when they get to that point. Like, it's hard, but it's crazy how much of a part of the family an animal can be, whether it's your dog or cat. I do not like cats at all. I'm allergic to cats. They blow up my face and make me sneeze. So never have been a cat fan, but had a dog pretty much all my life. And yeah, it's crazy how attached you can be. And like, you just walk in, they put a smile on your face. They're always happy to see you, always there to greet you. Patrick said, I've been using the Lew's Custom Light Speed Spool BFS reel, matching Lew's Custom Light rod. Been really impressed with that combo. Not a cheap setup, but worth it. Nice. Yeah, I haven't used any of the shallow spool. I know Abu Garcia has one in the Revo X. I haven't used any of those. I would say for the money right now, I think the best is the Arc Gravity BFS. I think they did a really, really good job with that. It's like 140, something like that, but really easy to tune in. It slings, an 1/8 of an ounce lure, it slings a mile. The KBF National Championship was moved to November. I didn't see that. I don't know anything about those. When's the one up in Minnesota? I was just talking about that today. I think there's a few people from around here going. Chris said he might be interested. I definitely want to drive up and make that and meet, Gramps should be there. Stuff with folks. DRT Tiny Clash. Oh, I do have some of those. So that's another one that that Dreamcatcher guy, whatever he changed to, I put it up early. I've got some of those knockoffs that people said walked very, very the Clash. Paint up some of those and try them because I think the regular Clash is like $100. So again, pretty expensive. I think I got my blanks for $1, something like that. So miss your 55 and leaked all over the floor. What do we got? Lucky Craft any good? Lucky Craft cranks and jerkbaits are both great. The Lucky Craft pointer is awesome. Lucky Craft 1.5 is one of my all-time favorite square bowls. Let's see. Thought on the BKK hook box. The box is too expensive for me. I don't think I would use all the sizes to justify buying that. It's cool maybe if like you want one thing in your boat, just hooks, maybe. But I will tell you that the BKK hooks are sick. I got multiple ones of those last year to test out. The BFS ones they have are sick. The EWGs are super nice. I don't have any of the trebles to test. Really, really like those though. Chris said, what's the weight on that Magnum jerkbait? It is 8 inches, 3 ounces. Definitely above average. 8 inches, 3 ounce jerkbait. That thing weighs more than the swim baits I've got sitting here. That thing is a monster. Yeah, that would be a tough bait to jerk on. Yeah, you'd have to be, I'm going to have to be in shape. I'm going to have to be lifting weights, practicing just to be able to work that thing. Let's see. So many pike up here, Debo. Yeah, we've got a bunch of pike here. Just the normal spots I hit don't have them. And the river's the big place, and I just don't fish the rivers much. The current and stuff scares me. I know there's a bunch of the backwaters, but with my kayak, man, we know my track record of getting wet and flipping things. So the Nico rig is another one I want to test more this year. I threw it a couple times last year, had really good luck. I want to throw that more. Let's see. Trey, A-rigs are definitely not my strong suit. I've caught, I think, less than 5 fish on A-rigs. Yeah, less than 5 for sure. Only a few. 2 of which for sure were pike, and I didn't even get them landed. So I am not an Alabama rig. Not that I have anything against it. I'm not throwing them. So Lord Debo, can you give a shout out to my friend Adrian R? Adrian R, happy birthday. I'm assuming it's Adrian's birthday. If not, what's up, Adrian? Let's see. Bobby Debo has a cult following. It's pretty crazy. Like anytime I get on here and see that we've got 200 people watching me talk for an hour and a half does truly blow me away. I mean, the opportunities I have to work, this is truly all to you guys and gals watching and supporting me. People don't like, I don't know. So many of the YouTubers, it just pisses me off when you can tell they're very high on their own supply. I don't know. I've never liked people like that, but so many of the YouTubers out there are like that. They definitely think they're a tier above people, and YouTubers wouldn't be here without the people that support them. So they need to sometimes chill out and remember that. But that's the thing about YouTube, though. There's so many people, like when I go look at my videos, the number of people that aren't subscribed that watch, it's like 70-30. It's crazy, 60-40, stuff like that. And so much of YouTube is the wow factor, right? The biggest ever, largest ever, most insane ever. And so much of that stuff just cracks me up. So for me, being able to do like regular dumb guy in Iowa fishing to amass this type of following and people still watch, truly does blow me away and means a lot. Guggen always has drama. It can be hard to keep track. Yeah, I thought they were done now or something. I don't know. Let's see. How's your ice fishing been? It has sucked, Joel. I went out, was that last weekend or the weekend before? I don't remember. Whichever it was, I went out fishing with Pops. Got there at like 7, fished for 4 or 5 hours. Within the first 15 minutes there, I had a big fish on. I don't know how big it was, but it was rip and drag. Got it within like 3 feet of the hole and it popped off. So I was like, okay, that's all right. That's a good sign. I'm fishing in the right spot. I didn't have a single bite. Didn't catch a single fish the rest of the day. 5 hours out there or whatever. My dad and I, we ended up splitting up. I was all excited because it was dad and I going out. I'm like, yeah, we're going to get on a good bite. A couple of years ago, we had a great day there. He ended up going off somewhere else and ended up finding a weed line and caught like 20 bluegill, kept them all, like all 8-9 inch bluegill. And he's like, oh yeah, I was catching them left and right over there, about an hour after you left or whatever. I'm like, oh, great. That's awesome. I didn't land a single damn thing. So no, it's been a pretty lackluster ice fishing year. Plus last week we just had all 40s, 50s. I think we had a day that was like 60. So yeah, I don't even think we'll have good ice here. I didn't even plan on going out this weekend or anything. So I'm guessing that's all going to be sketch, but it is what it is. I'm ready for spring. Have you ever tried curly tail grubs for bass? Oh, absolutely. Curly tails used to be my jam. Actually, I just found my bag of old curly tails, like a 2-inch curly tail. You could catch everything on that. Used to be one of my confidence lures. The last time I've thrown one, I don't even know. So I need to throw them more. There was a day, Nick Rundle, speaking of bait makers, he and Marling were two of the ones that showed me how to do the plastic stuff, took me under their wing, super nice guys. But there was a day we all went out and he just absolutely mopped the floor with us, throwing a little like 1.5-inch white curly tail in super cold water. So they definitely still work. Has Mr. Stubbs painted his portion? Has he paid the portion? No. Lazy Bum is still not paid a cent, but he pays for it in moral support, I guess. So how about another Big Ten national championship? Are we talking football? Because I don't see that happening anytime soon. Supposedly, we should have a decent quarterback for next year, though. So we'll see. I hope so. Oh, Lord, have a vet put down your pet or do it yourself. I could never put down my pet ever. Yeah, I've always taken the vet to do it. A peaceful rest is what they deserve. They're a part of the family. Let's see. Sorry, so late. That's all right. We're still talking. Just haven't gotten to BFS, just throwing on a spinning setup. Yeah, and that's the thing, David, is for me, it's a comfort thing. I would much rather throw a bait caster all day, and I definitely don't get into the, like, you know, the super ultralight stuff on BFS. I would just rather throw it on my ultralight spinning rod. But yeah, either way is fun to me. I've just had to take a different look to BFS, and has kind of changed my outlook on it. So, Lunker Hunt come out with a baby cormorant. Oh my. Oh, here, kayak in July. Okay, I was just talking to Chris about that today, and I couldn't remember. I was thinking like August or September. July, huh? Well, that's going to be warm. Well, I'm definitely planning on going up to it, so I'm going to talk to some people. Hopefully, Gramps and people are going up. I'd like to camp out. Yeah, who was? I think it was Gramps was telling me about that they have a dink category where it has to be like, it can only be like from 10 inches to 14. I don't remember what the rules were, but you're trying to catch like the smallest fish. That kind of cracked me up. But I don't know. The tournament thing doesn't really excite me. I would rather just go up and meet people and fish. Earlier looking at NXS, you can find some of the custom colors on LureNet. Yes, I did. I actually just bought some from LureNet, David, of the NXS, because I had multiple people. You have good luck on those? I had multiple people tell me to pick up some of those for deeper crank. If anyone's thinking about buying anything. Yep, Mason, absolutely. If anybody's thinking about buying anything from Japan, do it now. Exchange rates are extremely in our favor. Yep. I just bought the Shimano Scorpion, the 300, which is the exact replica of the new Tranks 300. So I'm excited to try that. I'm going to put that on a different swim bait combo here. Because, you know, I'm going to be a huge swim bait guy next year and catching 10-pound fish. Trust me. Who makes the best / better plastic pork chunks? Well, if we're talking actual pork chunks, Joshies came out with them again. Actually, you can see the thing there. They just re-released them. That was the only thing that I ever used. Picasso has some really cool ones, but they're expensive. If we're talking like actual pork. Plastic, I don't really throw a chunk a ton. And it's not even technically a chunk, but Berkeley, the power bait, they have one that's like a chunk. I don't even remember what it's called. But the Berkeley power bait is like really the scent that I have the most confidence in as a scent. So whether scent makes a difference or not, I don't know, but the Berkeley power bait has always been my my confidence deal. Clay's leaving. Clay, thanks for hopping in. David, I used to throw a flick shake a lot on a wacky worm, like a weighted wacky specifically, but I haven't really thrown wacky a ton. And I think the last few times that I've done it, I've either thrown like the Missile Baits 48 or just a regular. Actually, you know, my favorite of all time is the Reaction Innovations Pocket Rocket, the little one for a wacky rig. What is that? 4.5 inches, 5 inch, something like that. I forget what that one is, but hashtag cops called. Yeah, we're talking about videos that are to the extremes. Yeah. God. The big one now is Karen. Oh, pissed off and almost got in a fight. Right there. Debo calls police on Karen. It cracks me up. Now, if it's like a legit one where there is some prick out there like harassing, I get it. But, you know, love when that stuff happens. And then like the kids, and like you can tell these looking for this crap. Like I hate those videos where, you know, they're clearly, you know, I'm sounding old now because they're clearly harassing people, you know, just like leave me alone. You know, they're trying to get a rise out of people, and it's like, geez. But yeah, I'm old. You can see I'm getting gray in my beard. I'm the old grump. You know, I used to do that crap when I was young. It's just something you go through, I guess. Any chance of a live real maintenance live stream? Rich, you must have missed the one. It wasn't a real maintenance, but I did some taking them apart, bearing upgrade. I could certainly do that. Maybe that's what we'll do. I got in touch with Hella, thank goodness, because I haven't had him on forever. Oh, actually next weekend, so never mind. Hopefully, if all works out, Rich Hellabash should be on next weekend. And then I think either the 15th or the 22nd, Clutch said they were going to try to free up their Saturday for me. So maybe whichever one is not them. Yeah, I could certainly do a real cleaning because I've got some bearings I want to do. I could show like a handle change. I mean, those are really easy, but we could just kind of do all of it in one. Yeah, for sure. I can put that up. End of the season's coming true. Now you can get your stuff cleaned up before the end of the season's here. But yeah, they're pretty, most of them are pretty similar inside, I guess is what I was looking for. Similar inside. So whatever reel I choose, it should be pretty close to what you got, unless we're talking like real old reels or something like a round reel, something like that. But most of like the low profile, like a Lose LFS, most of those are all the same. So, okay, let's do a couple more questions and then I'm getting out of here. I need to go get my protein shake in. Just skip lures, ice fishing, absolutely. Kitech, yes, Kitech Mono Spin Jig is a great little jig. I caught like a 4.5 pounder on one of those. That's been years back, Dizzle and I, on a spinning combo. I wasn't into BFS then, but what else? We got any other good questions? Debo. We'll end here. I did see those come out, Ray. The new bluegrass bug thing from Mule Fishing. I've not. I've had the chance to meet Ethan. He is super duper nice, very good guy. So we'll be picking up some of those. But I have not used any yet, but they look kind of cool. So those might be one I'll have to pick up and try. But listen, that's it. I'm getting out of here for the night. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate my members. Appreciate everybody else for watching. Thank you all for continuing to support old dummy Debo down here in his basement. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. And until next Saturday.